going to show up in that one right now because you guys are going to get the first questions to ask about what I'm going to mention. You guys are going to be getting, we'll make this public later, but we want these asshats to keep guessing because, oh, but by the way, they did subscribe. I did pick up on one person that subscribed. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Crabtree. They're sending him to do their dirty work. So that's okay. I'll just leave it as this. It is what it is. If it sounds echoey or anything, let me know because I am not wasting a moment's tonight. Okay, I think we're good. Just make sure I'm not worried about so hold on a second. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm on 2 different live streams. So if I don't answer one versus the other right away, don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just making sure I'm very, very, very equipped tonight. I'm going to show you some things that I have going on in the back. I have what you can see. Well, this is my altar. We all know, first of all, I am a pagan. I don't hide that for anybody. But I want you guys to see as well. It's like pretty cool in standard time here. I have, you see that little bright screen right there? That is a thermal camera. And I bought the Boo Buddy just so we could have it there for Sebastian in case he just wants to come chill and hang out and play with the toys. If he just comes in spirit, that's fine. He doesn't have to touch anything. I also have this little nameplate there that I bought for him. And I also have a little gadget to the side of the thermal camera. It's a electromagnetic machine that picks up, and I have the REM pod back there. So all of this is going at once. So I'm gonna try to keep out of the way, so you all can see it from different angles, versus the camera versus the, excuse me, if you don't see me, don't mind. I want you guys to be able to, I'll turn the phone every now and then as well. Yeah, God, that's funny. So I wanted to talk about a few things about him because I'm blocking it. Okay, I'm just going to turn my chair like this, if that's okay with you guys. So I'm going to be at an angle this way, so the camera is, my phone is picking up the, unless you guys want the phone as well on me like this. It's up to you guys. I don't mind. You can see it either way, but I'm trying to make it to where I am in both view of the thermal and REM pod and everything, so you guys can see. But as you guys know, I am pagan. Don't mind the altar. This is where I do everything. This is my safe space. This is my calm space. This is my magical space. This is where I commune with spirit. This is where I do a lot of different things. Now, tonight we're going to get right down into the dirty, okay? I'm going to just move some stuff out of the way because I'm going to be doing some different things here off and on. So I'm just reading some of your comments quick, sorry. Crabtree did come up tonight, and I'm going to tell you what I got. Maybe you guys can verify what this is. This is only our members live tonight, so, I won't post this up for public until probably a day or so. So you guys are going to get the first actual in real time questions to ask, anything ahead, anything that comes through. Like I said, they did subscribe to the members live, one in particular, but I do want to make up some, I do want to make up some call outs tonight. One, to how wonderful Not Today Satan was for gifting everybody wonderful memberships. That was very kind of her. Everybody give her a heart, please. That was very, very generous of her. Let's give her a big thumbs up. Anything just to give her thanks. Thank you very, very much for everybody. Crabtree came up numerous times tonight. Now, for Crabtree, we all know he's a snake. We've heard about him multiple times. So I'm just going to say, for this reason, I'm going to just say what came through for him first, because that was the first thing that came through. Anything else after that is going to be different. Miss Susie. We gotta love our Susie, right? I was hoping that you guys could see that thermal camera back there change color. My phone is showing it as a green screen, right? And you know what's funny is the screen on my computer. You see what my computer's doing? Look at the thermal screen back there. Watch what it does every now and then. No, it's not going to do it because I pointed it out. See that, guys? Did everyone see that prior to what I was saying? It's kind of like pulsating out, pulsating in. Oh, yeah. So Crabtree, for whatever reason, came up 3 times before I got on the live. I usually do my, grounding, centering, my energy, protection. I speak with my guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, gatekeepers, and protectors. That is my whole team that I work with constantly. They are my other half of my soul. I work with them every single day. That is like the second. That is the second team that I work with every single day next to my family. So outside of my family, they are the top-notch tier of energies that I work with. I'm not paying attention to it. So if it happens, you guys just keep an eye on it for me, okay? But Spirit in my team, I work with them specifically every single day. This is not something that I don't go a day without. They are very, very, very in tune with me. They have been since I was a child. So it's like having my own little circle of protection around me, my little like ball of white energy around me, and then I have them walking around my circle as well. Crabtree came up 3 times. Punch, soul, grab, pay, give, 1. Whatever that focuses on for him, I'm not sure just yet what that means. I'm sure you all do, because we know who he is in this whole scenario. We know what kind of a snake he is, and we know that he is more or less scheming and trying to more or less help the Proudfoot family in any way that he can. But I have to ask this. Now I know the name that I'm going to put out there is an actor, okay? So this to me has to be a person, but I also think it's being mentioned for a reason. I have a Chris Tucker. What flickered? The screen back there flickered. So, does anybody know who a Chris Tucker would be, just for the fact that this could be someone that was just trying to step in for you guys, but this is what I got prior to, before coming on with you guys. Yeah, so it's so bright. The light, I'm trying to give it, some sort of, let me see if I can turn down this light just a bit. Let's see, let's give it a, is that light better? It's a little dimmer. There, that's better. It's kind of like a little peaceful. Oh, that's so much better. It's not giving off so much heat. Okay, so we have a Chris Tucker right now. We have a Chris, or not a Chris, a Crabtree. We all know who that is. Yeah, that's a lot better, right? It's not so bright and in your face. Um, okay. The name Chris Tucker. Now, this could be somebody for you guys, or this could be just somebody that is being brought up specifically. So I'm going to leave that open for discussion. Let's move on. Now, I want to talk about, in particular, I found Chris Tucker, owner of Kiki's Breakfast Cafe, Indian Lake Boulevard. Now, where is that located? I assume that that is Nashville. Okay, okay. Um, I want to talk tonight specifically about first one, Henderson. I want to talk tonight about Chris Carr. Now, how many of you know who Chris Carr is in this case, in Sebastian's case? Okay. So Chris Tucker, this could be just a simple connection to, um, this could be someone that is, I mean, you guys can even look up right now to see if he's passed. He could be somebody that's passed away. He could be connected to the case in some way. We don't know yet. This could be something that is just, like I said, new info, new information coming through. When you work a case so long, new things come through. Yeah. Chris Carr. So I have a lovely dear friend, um, and she sent me a picture. Um, Kylie says, "Oh wait, Chris Tucker, Clarksville, charged with assault on pregnant wife, and this was 4 years ago." Okay, so maybe there's a connection to something in this case. We don't know who's who with that just yet. But let's get back to Chris Carr because I'm trying to stay on point here and not digress at any because I want to just be on point. Period. Chris Carr. I had a dear friend send. You guys know that I work through pictures only. I try not to work with names because I feel like that just gives off too much. You could give me a first name and a picture, or you can just give me a picture with no name. What comes through will come through. If something doesn't, it doesn't. I don't fret over anything. My gift works in various ways, so I try not to worry about anything too much. Yes, I'm aware where he works. I figured that all out yesterday. Uh, with, like I said, somebody that sent me the picture. I'm not going to give the name unless she says it's okay. And when I saw the picture, I immediately said Chris. Okay. And then this is why I'm bringing this up tonight, because we have been looking for Paul for the longest time, right? Chris and Paul. Now, oh, nice find. Chris Tucker is a real estate person in Gallatin. If I said it, did I say it right? Gallatin or Gatlin? It's Gallatin. So, Miss Tammy, we got to try to figure out tonight if we can get any information from Sebastian about. Yes, it is the same person. Yeah. So remember when I talked about Gallatin and We in the beginning? How many of you guys remember Gallatin in the beginning? Gallatin, and I kept saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. This right here makes me wonder, what connection does he have to the Proudfoots? Or anybody in this case, Chris Carr, or hearing Chris Tucker again. Okay, so let's put him on the radar for a minute. We don't know why, so we won't speculate that he might be a bad person. We won't speculate that he's in any type of corruption with this family at all. We're just going to leave this out for open, okay? But this, for whatever reason, is coming to me and coming to me and coming to me. So let's leave it there. But it's funny that, you know, there is something that's connected to a place in Gallatin. And he's a real estate person. And who else is real estate? Mama Stankfoot is. So think about that. It's a little weird. We're getting all these strange little connections to things, and we're getting these connections to things. And like we had the last live, what have we been, the one thing we have not gotten in this case, except I've always felt that he was in something, as in something built around him, right? And it's funny that those specific things were popping up. I found his address in Gallatin. Okay, so please do not post his private address up here. I would not want that for anybody's business to be posted here. Let's keep that private, and let's move on. So it's funny that little connection there. And where does Mama Stankfoot live? We will definitely ask that. And she live in Gatlin too? Is it Gatlin or Gallatin? Gallatin, okay. So he lives in Gallatin. He works in Gallatin as a real estate agent. And Miss Mama Stankfoot, she lives in Gatlin, maybe? Just for a reminder for me. It's hard to keep. So Gallatin as well. So that's a little strange for me that there is a connection to real estate there in the same area. So again, we'll leave that open for discussion. Let's get back to Chris Carr. Chris Carr was shown to me in a picture. I had no idea who he was. The picture was shown to me, and immediately I got Chris, and then I got Paul. So my question is, is Paul the circle of bullshit friends? Think about that. We have Chris Proudfoot, Chris Carr, we have a Paul, we have Katie, we have Katie's mother, who's a level 3 offender, and then we have, who else? Catherine, I can see your message, honey. I'm also not looking at the screen like that, though, honey. I'm just looking at the very bottom ones right now so I can keep on task. And my question is for tonight for Sebastian. The man that lived behind the Proudfoots, his name is Chris Carr. And I pulled the name Paul from the picture. So same area. Let's leave it at that then. So let's just maybe connect that as maybe a connection there. Stankfoot. Someone's being funny. Who's Will? Somebody by the name of Will is being funny. Stankfoot. No negative energy can cross my space. No negative energy can be in my space. So I don't mind funny, I don't mind friendly, but we will not have any negativity. I do. I do have the two lives going at once for a reason. Because once we get into Sebastian too much, my computer goes haywire. So I have, like I told everybody in the beginning, I won't be looking at the messages right away on my phone, but I will get back to anybody that's on there because I want to have a backup just in case the computer goes strange again, like it always does during a Sebastian live, okay? Miss Moon Dust is in the house. Cool Molly. Now my question is, we're going to go back to the cameras for a minute, okay? Everyone gave up their camera footage. My question is, what did he not give up? Paul. He didn't give up Paul. It doesn't matter which one you're on, honey. Either one, I will get back to. Either way, I will get back to you, sweetie. Whatever live I'm on, I just wanted to have a backup plan tonight because everything always goes wrong when we're always having the live for poor sweet Sebastian. On my computer anyway, which is odd. Right, Paul. Right away. Right away. Right away. You see that, Tammy? We hit something on the knot, right on the dotted line right there. So, when we talk about Chris Carr, I want to be very, very specific. We're talking about Chris Carr. So when we reference spirit, I want you to reference Chris Carr, or you can say Chris C or Chris P. So I know which one you're referencing, or you can show me a picture of them in my head, okay? Whatever's easier for you to do. This way we can do this and not get facts confused, okay? Oh no, Miss Nikki, tonight it's not that Paul. It's a Paul that I picked up on from a picture. And it just so happens to be the Proudfoot, the neighbor behind the Proudfoot's home, Chris Carr. And I picked up the name Paul right away from his picture. So I just wanted, I didn't want you to get any like false hope, okay? Okay, so I have these few words that are just coming through randomly. Sometimes I call it like ethereal drunk, like as in just stuff like siphoning through into my psyche. But this to me goes right to the case. Miss, as in maybe missed, not as in I miss you, but as I missed something. The word Chris, will. Now is will, I think will is a name. It is not, it's a person's name. It's not like I have the will to go on. One, sever, and a whole. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to keep on task until we start asking questions to Spirit. As things come through, it's kind of hard to pick up on Spirit, look at your messages, talk to the screen, so I'm just trying to be everywhere at once, okay? I definitely can only imagine what's going to try to pop through my my phone live, because we all know that they have subscribed to my channel. So which Chris though in that list? Right, Tammy. So our question is going to be tonight, strictly I want you to be very specific with your questions tonight. CP, or C. You can say Chris Carr, or you can say CP, or whatever is easier for you for me to reference spirit. But something isn't right about this Chris Carr. I'm going to try to find out what he has in this affiliation with this case. I get like a circle when I ask that question, not randomly to spirit, but just as in general questioning. I got circle, so it's all in a circle. So to me, that's like a form of saying everybody is within the circle. Everybody is in on it together, so to speak. Okay, let's talk about Chris Carr. He is the agenda tonight, I'm assuming. Will. Okay. That's the second time that came up, right after. So, can you guys see how we have Will, Paul, then we have Carr, Will, and Chris Carr, and Will again. So, I want to get down into some questions and see what spirit has. I want to see what questions we can get answered in spirit from that. Hole, dig, left. Hole, dig, left. Hole, dig, left. Paul. Okay. And I want to. Do you guys remember how I spoke about? Let me see if I can dim this just even a little bit more. Ooh, that's better. Ooh, I like that. You guys can see that back much better. Okay, cool. So you guys remember when I was talking about how I felt like it had to do with military, police, and their group is connected together. Yes. And I'll write that down now because that's going to be the first thing I want to try to get. And it just so happens that this Chris Carr is not just police officer. He is a corporal police officer. He, it's kind of like, he's not your typical police officer. He is like, I would say like army type person. And that just, let's see, did I miss something? Oh. So, he's not just your run-of-the-mill police officer. He's also a corporal officer. He's, if I'm not mistaken, it was, Tammy can help me out there. She knows. Tammy, I'm wondering, because Will came up several times just underneath Chris Carr's name. I originally thought Jacob was green honey. So my question is, who is Paul? What is Chris Carr's co-conspirating acts in this case? And let's see where we can get it, okay? So I want you all right now to start with your questions, be very, very specific in name reference, as in Chris Carr or Chris Proudfoot. It doesn't have to be anything more specific than that out of the question, because if it's going to come through in spirit, it will be validated or not. Just Chris Carr or Chris Proudfoot, nothing else than that, okay? Chris Carr. Okay. Let's get, I'm over here. So, My questions tonight are going to be about Chris Carr, Sebastian. Okay? If Sebastian can have help answering these questions, if they're able, you may help Sebastian with like perfect love and perfect trust. We don't want anyone stepping in that is not going to help Sebastian tonight. He's so freaking sweet. To me, he's like my baby. He's talking about the nameplate back there. I don't know if you guys can see that nameplate right there. It's got a big dinosaur on it, and it's got Sebastian's name on it. He was just saying how much he loves it. He loves it. Sebastian, do you know who Chris Carr is? Not Chris Proudfoot, not Mom's husband. The man behind Mom's house. Do you know who he is? Why was he mean? As in, what you are you saying he was mean to you at one point, or you don't know what I mean? I want to ask those specific questions to you so I don't misinterpret what you're saying. What do you mean? Sebastian's saying, Chris Carr, mean. He told me not to knock. Maybe not knock on his door, maybe go near his property, maybe? Or, I'm not sure if the area is fenced in behind their backyard to his property line, but he's talking about, he told me not to knock. I'm going to assume knocking on the door or in some way. Hello, everyone. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, no. Okay. So, this man, we're talking about Chris Carr. I hear CP telling me, you keep your mouth shut. We all know that sounds like him, right? I mean, it's funny that Spirit is trying to show me Chris Proudfoot speaking versus Chris Carr, which I asked for before I got on here, which I'm very grateful. Thank you for that. And he gave him money. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. That's what the connection is. Shut your mouth. He wasn't too willing to show police proof of his surrounding home, was he? What did he leave out? I'm assuming he left things out of his camera view or his camera system, or he didn't give the full. He didn't give the full. Oh yes. Clear as day. Shut your mouth. And it was arrogant. Yes, ma'am. You all believe that? He was supposed to be on vacation at that time? Miss, Chris, will, one, sever, whole. At one point I have whole, dig, left, forest. I knock into my tabs. Okay. Starting to look like that, Tammy. Okay, now we know there is a connection there. Okay. I think I'm off flying my leg. Ooh, my back window's open over there. I can't promise you you're not going to hear any freaky things, because at nighttime we might get tapping on that back window. What was Chris Carr's relationship? So, Sebastian, sweetheart, do you know if Mom was, did Mom have a boyfriend besides Mr. Chris? Did Mom have a boyfriend that lived behind your house? How do you know that, sweetie? Okay. I'm going to state something here. No, they were not boyfriend and girlfriend, but they were having relations together. I'm going to put it that way, because he put it in a whole different kind of way, as someone his age group would say. He kind of made it like sound like a sleepover with him, which makes sense of his, the way he would reference it as a person. Yeah, yeah. He lied, told police he wasn't there. Yeah, Tammy. It wasn't a relationship, it was more of a, as a lot of people are saying on here in the comments. Now, I have to say this for entertainment purposes, okay? This is pure speculation. This is not to be taken as fact, so they can't try to sue us, any of us, for anything we say on here. I just think it's funny that Sebastian is talking about she went on a sleepover at his house. Yeah, that's wow. And that he lied, told police he wasn't there. Corporal. That's next. Okay. I gotta fix this fan because I'm sweating over here. Sorry. I'm trying to stay out of the view of the camera here so you guys can see the stuff back there. Okay, now did you see that? What just happened right here? It flares up. Sebastian, how does Chris Carr know Paul? How does the man that lives behind Mom's house know who Paul is? This is a reference, to me, this would be a reference to, I think, what would you take that as, right? Man the Brave, Man the brave. I'm assuming that's military. Man the brave. Can you, okay, sweetie, how about this? Can you tell me one thing about Paul, okay, that Chris Carr is, do you know what job Paul had, knowing who Chris Carr was? Neighbor. Who was the neighbor, honey? We know Chris Carr was your neighbor. Who's Paul? Where did Paul live? Did you see Paul on the street? And you know, this could, hold on, Sebastian, I'm sorry, sweetie. This is probably why Paul, we couldn't get an answer about Paul, because we were referencing it in a way about where Chris Proudfoot knows him. They helped out, but maybe the direct link was strictly from that area, and it just came around full circle. Kylie Ray, plus 2 to 3 active and retired law enforcement lived in KP Street, and apparently one moved off the street 2 weeks after Sebastian went missing. See, I didn't get that, so I'm not going to state that that's what that is. Okay, so, all right, we got neighbor. Oh, I'm getting sweaty. All right, Sebastian, I'm sorry to have, I don't want to say cut you off, sweetie, but interrupted our conversation. So, when you say Chris Carr is a neighbor, or are we saying Paul was the neighbor? He's saying that for their reference again. Okay, so, okay, let's just take that as he served in some sort of organization. He's either served as a police officer, he served as a military man the brave. Well, look that up and maybe you guys can figure out what statement that would be on, like a headline. Men the brave, or man the brave, or it might be just how Sebastian is referencing it. You see how it doesn't kind of make, I'm not going to say it out loud because I feel like it'd be very rude. Yeah, and that's what we're going to get at. Sebastian, do you know if Paul was a police officer? Mr. Chris. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you for not confusing me. You're the best. Now we're hopping to Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris. So does Mr. Chris, Paul, and Chris Carr, are they all connected in your case, honey, in your disappearance? Can you repeat that? Because I feel like I just almost messed up on how to repeat that. Chris lied. I got that. Chris gathered, you said evidence, and took it away. Which Chris took and gathered the evidence and took it away? Carr. Okay. Now, what about Paul? I want to get to Paul because we can't figure out who Paul is, and we want to make sure we know who Paul is, okay? Sebastian, can you give me a last name of Paul, where he may have worked? Refers to an individual individual that confronts danger, not fear, duty over integrity. So I'm just going to say this, okay? Street, pay Chris, also vendor, when he was asked about Paul. Sebastian, can you tell me Paul's last name? Okay, so okay, so I'm going to message Timmy after this live because remember Chris Tucker we just mentioned? Okay, so when I asked what Paul's last name was, he said Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker. So is that somebody that, is this why we're bringing up Chris Tucker way in the beginning? Because Paul has a connection to Chris Tucker. I wonder if we can look right now and find a Paul that's connected to Chris Tucker. Get to work, people. We got this. And if you're watching Staying Put, I haven't gotten the fact that you were watching tonight because Spirit lets me know automatically, and I don't have that yet. So if you're watching this tonight and you're just not commenting, TikTok motherfucker, we're coming. Let's go back to let's go back to that vendor. Real estate vendor. What kind of vendor? You said street, pay Chris vendor. What kind of vendor are we talking about? Okay. Do you know what kind of vendor he is? Workstation, truck. Workstation, truck. Is Chris Tucker a neighbor to you, Sebastian? Do you know that? Okay, so what? Okay, good, Catherine. So what does the person that's a vendor, what does he sell, Sebastian? Because you showed me a truck. I gotta stop writing so sloppy and fast because some of my stuff is hard to read. I'm sorry. Truck. Okay. What things does this vendor person sell? Can you tell me like what type of things that he sells? It could be anything that you want to reference to me that he sells. What does he sell? A lot of money, okay. There's a lot of money in this, and it's really disturbing. My question is, where is all this money coming from? I'm going to... sweetie, that wouldn't be a... money vendor. When we put money and vendor together, what would we put together as that as one? This is just some thinking. Money and vendor. Facebook says it was a fellow camper that loaned CP his car that night. Is Paul's last name Branscombe? Okay. I didn't say this yet because I just wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure if it's referenced to me one more time in spirit, I will let you guys know what this means. But right now, I don't want to put that implication out there just yet. Okay? Because I need to know who's doing this. So when we talk about Paul, Sebastian, let's go back to Paul, okay? We know Chris Carr knows him. And we know Mr. Chris. Let's verify this again. How does Mr. Chris know Paul? Okay, guys, we're going to. He's known as a vendor. Okay, so when we talk about vendor, I just want to be clear on something before I state it, because that's a big deal. So what kind of vendor is Mr. Paul? We can call him Mr. Paul if you'd like. What kind of vendor is Mr. Paul? What does he sell? Okay. I'm going to wait on that. I want to just see what else comes up. He talks about vendor. He talks about money. And then the letter L. So I asked him what was Paul's last name, and he stated the letter L. The letter L. Well, there's another theory yet. I just need to see if I hear it again. I've already written it down once. I need to hear it more than once in order for me to say this kind of thing here. When I said what kind of vendor, we have the word whole. So I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's that type of vendor. Sebastian, let's go back to Mr. Andy, or Jesus, Mr. Andy. Okay, my screen was completely blurry just now. I don't know if you guys just saw that. It was completely blurry on my computer. Completely blurry. Almost like there was a film over the screen. Okay. You guys saw it, and that's all I care about. It wasn't just something that, I wasn't sure. Does Paul live on Kelly's? So when we talked about asking for Mr. Paul's last name, you said the letter L, okay? Can you give me a last name for Mr. Paul? Um, hmm. Sebastian, do you understand what I'm asking you, sweetie? So you're Sebastian Rogers. Everybody has a first name and a last name. What would be his last name? Mr. Paul's last name. Timestamp it. I'm just gonna, because he hasn't really given me, so when we talked about money, I got the word laundering. And then I got the letter L when I asked Sebastian what his last name was. And L again. And then when I asked for Paul's last name, he said Mr. Chris, but a vendor. Chris Carr knew him as a vendor. So they both know him as a vendor. But they also know who he is outside of that job opportunity. He is someone that knew the group. He was within the group. Now, he says something about 2 ID cards. So I'm wondering if Paul's even his real name. Because he's speaking about 2 different ID cards. See? Top page, 2 ID cards. I'm wondering if he's right. Okay, let's ask this. This is an idea. Is Paul his first name? Getting Will. Is Paul his first name, or is that his middle name? So I can't say my name out loud, obviously, Sebastian, but your name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So you have a first name, a middle name, and you have a last name. Is Mr. Paul's name, is that his first name, or is that his middle name? You're referencing Andy Y. Okay. Can you tell me his last name? Can you repeat that one more time? See, I don't want to message you, Tammy, because the live's going on. I have Andrew, Paul, then also Gibbons or Givens? Andrew Paul Gibbons or Givens? Major Paul L. Chris Tucker, Sebastian. How is Chris Tucker? Is Chris Tucker, let me put it this way before I even make any speculations. Yep, Gallatin, okay. Gallatin or Gallatin, you know me, I have a different accent than you do. I have an accent that I hide over this one. So my accent doesn't even really sound like this a lot of the time. It's very different sounding. Is there a Deborah on here? Or maybe, no, there might be a Deborah on this live. Because I looked over at my phone and I heard the word Deborah. Deborah. Okay. Sebastian, when you said the name Andrew Paul Gibbons or Givens, which one were you trying to tell me? Or were you trying to say that to me? Which one? So, okay. It still sounds the same to me. I'm not sure why. You know what you can do for me if you can? Break the syllable sounds down for me. Okay? Gibbons or Givens. Givens. It almost sounds like, Tammy, he's saying the first one, Givens. What does Chris Tucker have to do with the case in itself? Does he know Mr. Chris? Does he know Mr. Carr? I think he's validated this already for me. Chris Tucker would know, keeps referencing Chris Carr. There is an Andy Givens living in Nashville. With that frame of mind, where's the Paul? And that's my question. Can you give me anything, Sebastian, more about this Paul? Or his first name again and his middle name again, so we don't get it confused? Okay. Is it Andrew? Can you just reference for me again, just so in case we misspoke, in case we, have to go back and go back to all of this. Is it Andrew where does the Paul come into that? Because we have Paul in the middle here. Paul is the vendor. Okay. So is Andrew Givens a different person than Paul? That's what we're talking. Oh, gotcha, sweetie. All right, I'm kind of confused. So are you saying that this person has two names, as in, is it Andrew Paul, and as in one name and not a middle name, or is it two different people? It's almost like because he's going back to two of the same. It's almost like he's referencing two IDs, two ID cards. And he's saying two of the same. And then when I try to split those apart, you see what I'm saying? Vendor means construction license holder. Where does Andy live now? Does Andy live in Hendersonville, or does he live somewhere else? Let me put it this way, because I mean, I don't know why this came to mind. Is Paul alive? Okay. So if Paul has two names, right? What would Paul's real name be if it's not really Paul? Okay. Is that what you're referencing, sweetie? Just, it's really one name, it's not a middle name, and I'm just referencing it wrong? Is it true? Okay, so I guess we're going to be adding, okay. So I have the word collision, sever, scheme, Trevor. And this Carr gentleman, this Chris Carr, he is involved in a major lawsuit. It's public record. You can go look that up. And it's not even stating what it's for, but it's a massive civil lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. Sever, scheme, Trevor. Sever, scheme, and Trevor. Is that the person, Sebastian, that I had pictures of in my phone, and he's like connected to like the DA, timestamp. Don't know if you guys heard that. It's like a tapping on my window. I told you again, we're gonna hear tapping here. It might freak you out. Don't get scared. So, do you remember the Facebook that I found, and it had, yeah, I'm gonna get back to that because I'm asking actually for that reason. Do you remember when the Facebook, this guy is a, he can carve things out of wood. He works with wood out of his hands. But he had like a lot of major friends in law enforcement, DA. Is this who this is right here? Because I swear this was his name on his Facebook. Justice. Surrender. Sebastian, did you have a neighbor by the name of Paul or Andrew? Andrew. Okay. Can we validate that, please? Neighbor named Andrew. Hi, Chase. Can we come? Sorry. Come here. Say hi to Chase. Is the neighbor Andrew, is that Andrew Paul or is that just Andrew? Okay. We're referencing the three names again. Tammy, is Andrew Chris Carr's neighbor? Is it, Tammy, is that supposed to be on Kellen? Thank you, Life with Java. That makes sense now. So we know Paul or Andrew is a vendor. Okay, so let's go back to Tammy's question. Sorry, my nose it just. Sebastian, is Andrew Chris Carr's neighbor on Kellen, the street Kellen? He says reverse. It's like he's showing me, it's kind of like he's showing me, Let me just ask again, because I feel like I'm going to say this in a way I feel I should say it, not how Sebastian's trying to. Sebastian, when we talk about Andrew, Paul, is that Chris Carr's neighbor on Kellen by over by Mom's house and Chris's house? Chris Carr. It would be Chris Carr. It would be his. It would be somebody over there. Now, did he live there or was he visiting there? It's kind of like he's saying he didn't live there, but he came to visit and he stayed a while. Sebastian, the night. Oh, why I'm supposed to bring that up. Let me look on the paper for it. Okay. Here you go, sweetie. Hold on a minute. I can't remember if I mentioned this. Oh, I did mention that, honey. He's talking about the knock again. Yeah, we did mention that, sweetie. Do you want me to mention it again? What reference does it have for you? He speaks about the Chris Carr being mean and then knocking. Whatever this he's referencing to. Yeah. How many times have you been to Chris Carr's house before? Mom has. But have you been there? Big old mosquito. I don't know where it went. Okay. He said Mom has, but he's also talking. Does he have a basement there? I'm not sure. Some houses don't have basements. Did Paul, Andrew, have live on Stafford Court? What does the number 1 mean? One person, or you couldn't find a basement? In that neighborhood? So there's no basement. So what do you mean by basement, Sebastian? Is anyone else getting weird video calls? Well, you would, Nikki, if it's Paul. Oh, I gotcha. One-on-one Stafford Court. I gotcha. Who lives at 101 Stafford Court, guys? Sebastian, do you know the address of Paul? What's the house number? What's the house number? Do you know the house number? That's why he's saying that. Okay, I get it. House number where Paul was staying. I tried not to pay attention too much. He would get mad. So clearly, they were doing things in front of Sebastian, and he didn't dare ask questions or even try to pay attention because he would have got mad. It says Neil Musnug 101. Where can we find, how about this one, honey? Where can we find Paul or Andrew Paul? Is he in Gatlin? Is he in Gatlinburg? Is he in Tennessee? Where would he be? Can you give me a place where he would be specifically? Okay. First, okay, this is a completely mixed message for me. Not with us anymore. He was paid off. So he probably was paid off to leave town. But he passed away in the actual, not with us anymore. What would you think that as to be? Sebastian, how many houses from Chris Carr's house was Paul or Andrew's? Completely silent. And I definitely feel I'm going to reference something and it's not meant to be a jerk in any way. But if you've ever seen someone who is on drugs and they feel like they need to touch their face, you ever see those folks that have to touch their face and they're on something? This is what I feel like right now. And I feel super, super groggy, and I don't know why. Because I'm never this tired this early. I'm assuming not with us anymore means paid off, serve any loose ends. I don't see it at all. I don't see any blurry at all. But that's why I'm doing two lives because I'm telling you, whenever we talk about Sebastian, something goes haywire. That's too bad. Which one? So I just heard Chris Carr wondered how did he pass? Sebastian, how many steps from his house was Paul and Andrew's house? It's like saying he was so spoiled and he would have to have his shoes on for the winter when it got cool outside instead of waiting it to snow, if that makes sense. I thought Chris Carr was set off. Not sure what that means, Tammy. Paid off. That's what I'm trying to say, Tammy. Remember we see the circle earlier in the beginning? We have Paul, we have Chris CP, we have CC, we'll call him Chris Carr. And then we have all this other circles, circling and circling. And my thing is, I'm just wondering if we're talking about money laundering here in some way. That's just pure speculation on my part for that specific reason, because I heard money and then laundry at the end. Money laundering would make sense because it almost is spelled identical. Where was Sebastian's when mommy had having slippers? Ah, okay. Sebastian, when mom would go to Chris Carr's house, did she ever leave you alone in the house? So when you went to this home and, you know, Papa and I paid for this hotel and all this other stuff, how did you book for your resort stay? Hmm. Very good, Catherine. Very valid point you made there, dear. Maybe that's why he said, don't knock. Remember in the beginning? I feel like I've been sedated by something. It's so early for me to be this tired, but I feel super sedated. Like, so strange. That's a bit better. So, again, I will ask you, is Paul or Andrew Paul in Hendersonville, is this person passed away? I'm not getting an answer. I'm going to give him a minute. Maybe he's just taking a break. That's a very valid point. Maybe that's why he told him not to knock. Just want to look at something. Something stood out to me. It's right here. Truck. Hmm. You guys got some really awesome questions tonight. Sebastian, when your mom went to her friend's house, how did she... Sebastian, when you went to her friend's house, did she give you something? Did she give you medicine that made you sleep? I'm not getting an answer back from him. I'm not sure if he just... Usually when they do that, another spirit wants to step in, so I'm kind of trying to just observe for a minute. Sebastian, does Chris Carr, the person that lives behind Mom, does he know where you're buried? I'm not getting an answer. It's like, what time is it? Have we been on live that long for Sebastian? I didn't go into this to. That does make sense, so maybe that's why he said don't knock. If he doesn't return, which is not usually like him, I'm not sure why. It hasn't been this quiet for me in a long time. Sebastian, if you can still hear me and you haven't left, I want to give a couple more questions to you. Sebastian, when your mom went to her friend's house, did she give you some medicine that made you sleepy? He said no. I want you to rephrase the question though, because that is how you technically. Thank you, dear, very much. This feeling almost feels like a sedative, almost like I've been drugged. And I think I've said this in my lives before when it comes to this case. I think he took something that made him super, super, super groggy. Because that's what I feel like right now. And it's not like you're tired. It's like almost like a feeling that I took something. Kylie Ray says, it's a bit sus that when you look on Google Earth, CC's house is the only one blurred out and you can't see. Huh. I would love to know why that would be, but I guess we already all know that. Good question, Tammy. Sebastian, if you can answer this back for me, honey, I really would really appreciate you. Did Paul or Andrew or Paul, did they die of an overdose? No, she said no. want to catch up on your little messages here. You know that I got a second. Okay. I think from feeling so heavily sedated, I just think Sebastian cut his energy with me. It's all like literally just right here. I feel super heavy, super sedated. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my tiredness. It was just like something that we had stated, Sebastian. I don't know how long. You guys could see my eyes get really, really, really. To me, this is like a pill feeling or something that would have been drank over and over again. I feel so, I guess you could say I feel high. Okay. How often, if anybody can help me, if Sebastian's not coming back, how often did Sebastian go to Chris Carr's house? Eventually left, and then the word Kelly. Morphine and fentanyl. How often does Sebastian arrest? I heard the number 2, so it's like twice, but I don't know. I have such a difference in how I would look at things now versus before. A lot was, does he mean Kellen Street? Well, that's what I took it as. I just what is up with my camera? I just assumed you guys knew what that meant. Automatic writing, we talk about this a lot. I wrote down, don't have any memory of it, wondered how he passed. Don't know who wrote that. Very well could have been me. And then the word Chris Carr. I don't know. It's very, very, very quiet out of nowhere. Very still. You feel that? Do you feel that rush of silence. What am I doing down here? People are just jerks the way they talk. I'm talking about the people that are just nasty when it comes to really trying to find a child. They really get that overwhelming sense of, I already looked. It doesn't mean you look suffice enough. Alrighty then. For Crabtree, I think him coming through tonight was basically to let me know number 3, you know, basically that was the number that I'm supposed to pay attention to. So, yeah. So far for the live tonight, what are we on? Almost 2 hours. I'm going to wait 10 more minutes. Just trying to think what else we could touch base on before we end this live. Because as Sebastian, for all the full names that were... Yeah. Sebastian, if you're with me still, honey, if there's somebody that can help Sebastian with the answers, that would be phenomenal. I would really appreciate it. Ask Sebastian for all the full names that were there when they took him out of the house and full names of everybody in the car. Is there any names that you can give me that were people that took him out of the house and full names of everybody in the car? So when we say that name, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about CP or are we talking about CC? So what was the other Chris's involvement in the case? I understand that. Paid to look away. Oh, I gotcha. But did he end up having any sort of consciousness after the fact? Did he say, hey, at any point, I don't want to do this? No, gave us blessing. He talks about Chris and Mom. I'm just waiting for anything else to come through. And then there's Kelly. Okay, so Sarah, I have a question, but it's not about anything you've discussed tonight. Do you know anyone that is in chat far? They went out on a search, but I mean, I mean, there is someone that does help look in areas and things of that nature, but not the physical part of it on here, no. But I mean, just randomly in my own family, like we went to Virginia Beach and we showed pictures around. We had that ability to just be like, hey, have you seen this child? When's the last time you've seen him? If you've seen him, what is the time frame? Was it day? Was it night? What was he wearing? What did he look like he weighed? What was his hair color? Just down to the detail. What was his shirt? What was his socks? What was his shoes? Anything that I could think of asking. Bubble Beth, that's kind of hard to ask him, but I'm going to try to reword it. Apparently, Chris Carr was at a vigil and he walked off saying, "This is a real bad one." This is Has he ever said, if anything, about taking the trash out that night? He went missing pertaining to his disappearance. I will ask the one question about with the spirit guides and ask if he will be found. To my guides, my guardians, angel ancestors, gatekeepers, and protectors, is Sebastian Rogers going to be found? Is he going to be found soon or much later on, as in years from now? I was told years from now. That's if the proper channels don't come together as one and really look for Sebastian, because it's all you need. You need air support, you need ground support, you need sniffing dogs, you name it, you need it. So if Sebastian hasn't been found yet, why haven't you authorized that to the FBI yet? Why haven't you approved ground search? Why haven't you approved more resources for Sebastian? You don't go looking for what you know where it is. Sebastian Cool Molly wants to know, is there anything very unique near where you are so we can find you? So, okay, so we got to switch up here. This is a male energy, but it's not Sebastian. It's kind of, I'm being shown birth contract. Are you showing me, I'm being told to have him choose, so to speak. It's kind of like saying you can't stay behind and have it your way. You have to put forth the effort to, if you really want to stay here and you really want to continue on in earth plane field, you have to try to figure it out. A lot of energies don't move on because their murder hasn't been solved. It's kind of like pushing themselves backwards. Will the mother crack and still the body, or still the truth about how she has a heart for her baby? Sebastian, I'm going to ask you one more time, honey, okay? Is there anything unique or very cool near where you are so that we can find you? And that's from Cool Molly. I've kept that name for a very long time, Sebastian. Sebastian, will the people that hurt you, and you can name them exactly right here, right now, have they hurt you in a way that you can't get yourself out of this situation that you're in? I think he's just done for the night. Because usually I have that fast interaction, and I don't have it tonight. Now that we've gotten to a certain point. I've got a lot of questions answered tonight. Was my objective. How did you guys care for the live tonight for questions with Sebastian? I do feel, like I said, I do feel Sebastian was drugged. The way I feel is it's such a sedative, like, it's such a strange feel to my face. And it's like I almost want to keep touching my face for whatever reason, just around this area, right? Sebastian or Sebastian's family. Will the Proudfoots be brought to justice for what they've done to people or what they've done to Sebastian? Yes, that's going on right now. But what about when everything comes out? Are they going to be convicted? It's kind of like hearing they'll be arrested, but only one will stay in jail because the other one had a technicality. Well, we have several other lives this week for Sebastian. Kelly East says, this was my first members live only, and my heart breaks for Sebastian Rogers. Yes, he definitely deserves everything and anything. We definitely want him found. Did Danny's poker party 3 days before have anything to do with the planning of getting rid of Sebastian? Plus, he was supposed to seen something on Danny's computer and got in trouble. Yeah, we discussed that. We did discuss this in one of our lives prior to, about the laptop business and him getting in trouble. We did speak about that. I'm I'm hearing, um, my house is a very active place, but my house is always going to be active no matter where I live. It's not the house that's haunted. It's I'm haunted. I don't want to say haunted, but like spirit follows me everywhere I go. So I actually hear almost like music. Um, to say the band, I'd have to look it up. I don't even remember what the name is, but I can hear the sound of it. Um, to bring in a lot of different questions tonight was great. Um, I will get into those questions after. Catherine, you know how he brings up the shoes being tied wrong. Do you think it's because KP tried them? She is left-handed. Okay. You know what is a good idea too? Our next live for Sebastian is going to be, I believe, Monday. And that is going to be about the things that he went through in the home. The 5 CPS reports. We're going to try to see if Sebastian can give us more on that and to establish, because no one's seen these CPS reports, right? So for me to state that, if Sebastian states what's in those reports, that is a legal documentation. They cannot get rid of that documentation. They cannot shred it. It's all in the system. Sebastian Sebastian looked really nervous leaving Texas Roadhouse. That was puzzling to me. That boggled my mind because he actually looked scared there. He was worried that something was going to happen. jump up on these questions. So our next live will be for Sebastian on Monday, and then one on Wednesday. One is going to be talking about the things that went on in the home. Sebastian has stated with us, but we're going to ask him again, because if we can pull up the things that were on the CPS report, there's truth to those reports. They are documented. They cannot be deleted. They cannot be rewritten. They're in the system as such. There is a carbon footprint, I guess you could say, to a lot of different things and a lot of different levels and ways I'm trying to explain it. But yeah, Sebastian's favorite color is green. Oddly, that's mine too. It's very grounding, as you can see. We call this the green room. Welcome to the green room. Live, coming to you from the green room. That's how we say it sometimes. Bubbly Beth, when he was seen shaking his head no at the table, I was wondering if she told him he was leaving. I don't feel like that's what it was. I think it's more to the level of that having to do with Chris Proudfoot. And I also think that night, that is the night that, they were supposed to do all the sneaking around, and Chris was really in town, and he supposedly really wasn't. But there's camera footage of these cameras, like seeing this person that looks almost identical in, the silhouette. I don't think it had to do with, I think something occurred that day, and she probably said, you really don't want me to have to talk about, you really don't want me to tell Chris about this type of behavior, do you? Because he's going to say no, because that scared him. I don't want him to know. I don't want him to know that I'm just being me. And if she could take that piece from him, I'm pretty sure she did. You've seen how she threw the man. I mean, who does that to their child, let alone one with disabilities? That is dehumanizing, to just throw it at you. Here, right across the table. Here, sweetheart. Take your menu. I'm sure you all remember that part. The waiter, he seemed to be more enticed by her smile, and he was happy when she went up to the table with the food. That video really put a hurt on my heart. Caleb loves food, and I have to tell him to slow down. I have to tell him, take your time. Your food is not going to go anywhere. We're going to be okay. Some autistic children, they don't have a shut off in their brain. It's actually a hormone that they're lacking, where it signals to the body you're full. And some people who don't have it are overweight, but in this case, Sebastian's far from overweight. To me, he's too skinny. And I think they used food as a punishment. He talked about the snacks. He talked about being on camera. He talked about just a lot of many different things to that nature. Yeah, when when me and Caleb go out to eat, he is the life of the party. When we traveled to Virginia, and I'm going to bring something up about that, because I was actually talking to Tammy about it, and and there's another thing I want to talk about. I didn't get to tell you, Tammy, and I didn't get to tell anybody on here. On the way to Virginia Beach, it was a full moon, and Caleb likes to script. He likes to tell stories, but he's like the narrator in every story, and he even does the voices. Um, it was funny because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We tried to beat traffic so we get to Virginia early so we could do our, looking around, walking around, showing pictures of Sebastian. And Caleb understood what we were doing there, and he didn't complain once. He didn't complain. He the we had brought him something to help him walk, so he didn't have any pain in his body. Um, he uses a buggy to walk. So on our long walks, or when we went to the stores and, hey, did you see this child? Do you know what the timeline is? Maybe did you see him with this person? We wanted to really make sure we put our foot in the sand, so to speak. But Caleb is the narrator of his own story. He loves to. It was a dark and scary night, and it was a full moon out, and the werewolf started to howl, and he starts howling at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that in itself not only woke me up, made me laugh, but it was very, very funny that he did that at that timing because no one was expecting to do that. When we're at a dinner table, he usually has his phone because sometimes the noises of Texas Roadhouse that we actually go to, it's a lot for him to handle. The sounds of the music being so loud, the bar, people clinging of the glasses, and that gets to him. So we allow him to bring his phone, or we allow him to play the game that's on that little tablet-like thing where you pay. And usually we don't allow the phone at the table when we're having dinner because it's family time. Does he get mad? Sure, he gets mad, but he gets over it very quickly because he knows we don't take from him to hurt him or make him feel bad. We try to have balance. This is the time for this, and this is the time for that. We're a family, and we're together, and that sometimes you have to put that stuff away so we can have our time together as a family. And Caleb is the opposite. Caleb loves food. But there is a certain amount of drawing the line he does. He's very, if he wants to go home because of the noise, Mommy, can I save this when we go home? Can we go home now? And I don't force him. But, yeah. There was a person that does spirit boxes sessions, and I know you guys probably remember it here, but he actually said my name, and he said Chase's name, my cat, and she was stunned by that because she knew who Chase was. She knew who I was, and that was the funniest thing ever. And I did tell her I'd collaborate with her at some point, but we never got to actually do it. So when we went to Virginia Beach, I'm going to call this out because I feel like it's very fucking important, and I'm going to say fucking on purpose because I actually have videos, but I can't post them because you're not supposed to, record, law enforcement. When I posted the video of Sebastian, and we were there, of us being there, and we were in vacationing, and we were, talking about walking around, and I sent, the video up, and I was technically in Virginia Beach still. I wanted to test my theory. So, not a cop in sight. The whole 4 days we were there. Not one cop in sight. We didn't see one on the beach. We didn't see one by any of the resorts. We didn't see one freaking cop, not one law enforcement agent out there. So it was around July 3rd evening or July 4th. It was I think it was the day before July 4th, actually. And I posted the video, and not maybe roughly an hour or so later, I see all these police flooding the boardwalks. And I'm like, what are the odds? What are the odds? And I thought it was strange because I'm recording this at this point, and you can see them showing a picture on their phone. And I'm trying to zoom in, and this person with black hair, with glasses, and I'm going to leave it at that. So how the fuck did Virginia Beach police start looking for someone that looks almost like me? I'm just going to leave that as, you know, a thought, a theory. But here I'm looking, and then there's other reasons how I know that they sent word to Virginia Beach to be on the lookout for me, because I'm just not going to say it on here because I feel like I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Tammy knows the deal. And clear as day, they're looking for somebody who's here looking for Sebastian Rogers. So I let it go. I didn't post those. I have 4 videos of these. They're looking around, they're walking the beach, they're walking up and down the resort, because I recorded from where, people. Do we remember the video I did? I'm actually on the balcony of a resort, and they're looking in the area that I posted that video. So I just thought it was funny that they thought they were going to catch me there amongst 20,000 people on a holiday weekend. It's why I went there when I did, because how are you going to find me in that many people? Oh, he did. Kylie says, when I did spirit box session for Sebastian today, he said my name. Sebastian to me is, you know, I see him as my own child. You guys know this. I tell you this all the time, and I think you guys do a little bit on your own, you know, equivalent of it. You guys been helping look for him. He's touched your heart. He's called a lot of you guys out on lives. Cool Molly can't change her name because I'll know it's Cool Molly because he's told me who she was. And it's funny because he will ask about your personal lives and things of that nature. Now here's the other kicker I wanted to get to. Now, my Facebook, someone tried to hack my Facebook for the second time. And it always happens after a live after Sebastian. And I, you know, will always put up my Facebook on here if you want to send me a message, or, you know, I talk to people through my Facebook Messenger about tips for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. You know, so they don't have access to what people are sending me, clearly. Someone tried, I got notice on my phone, and I'm like, I laughed so fucking hard because I knew that was them, because it was right after the live that we did for Sebastian the last time we were at, you know, that they thought they got me a little heated. I just thought it was funny because I like the challenge. Yeah, he definitely had. And you know, they thought that Sebastian wasn't going to be loved by a person, a group of people, but really it backfired in every which way, because Sebastian has really, really touched so many lives. And then there was just one more thing. That was the police thing. That was the Facebook thing. So the Grandfather Mountain email that I received the other day. My email is up there. You guys do know you guys can't email me, but will I answer back? I can't, because it's a secondary email that I don't allow myself to answer back. If it's something severely important, I'll tell you to reach out to me on my Facebook Messenger. Katie begging this person to go to Grandfather Mountain. And I stated in that video, why would a mother who assumed that a child that looks identical to Sebastian could have been sighted there, and you're begging a stranger to go there and do your job as a parent? If that was my son, I would have sped all the way there. Sped. Took a plane, something that would make me get there faster. And I just thought, I know this person meant well, and she really wanted to help. And she's like, I talked with Seth, you know, I searched with Seth. And yes, Kimberly Young. I'm being referenced. Kimberly Young. And the hard part about that was she was talking to Chris and Katie. They actually got her to believe that they actually gave a shit. And she went to Grandfather Mountain. And she was pulled in and she was interrogated asking why she was there. Now, I think that's what they were trying to do to me. They just couldn't find me. And with all due respect, I don't have to tell them shit while I'm there. It's my God-given right. For that in its specific self, how do you think that they found out that she went there? It was like a setup. No, you go there, go look, please. I'm begging you, go look. Why would you beg someone to go there when you could say, hey, let's get on a plane together, or let's go travel together, let's go see if he's there? Where did you see him? Let's go find him. And my thing is, why did the police allow her to give a photo of Sebastian when he went missing? Why did the police allow her to give a photo of Sebastian that was years younger? Police don't do that shit. They ask for the most recent photo of exactly what he looked like, or what he was exactly wearing, or, you know, his color of his hair, his color of his eyes, his, you know, anything, a birthmark, a mole, just anything that could help identify him. But she gave a picture, and that picture was how old? Now, you don't go looking for something that you know where it is. And that's the point I made in that video. It's why she didn't go with you, dear. Because she's sending you on a wild goose chase. And do I think that Sebastian is in some bullshit camp or Christian place to better him? No, I don't. As you can see, Sebastian has left. And look at me. The stunned, the sedatedness is gone from my face. You see how my eyes are wide open now? Before I could, I'm just like, I'm talking, I can hear myself talk, and I'm looking at messages, but it was like he was making me feel what he was feeling. He was severely sedated. So that sedation was super strong shit. Well, you have to look at all these interviews they do, right? She's doing the, fake cry. You as a mother could not hold your shit together if your child went missing, number one. But what's even worse is a disabled child, because autism is a disability in some kids. And that in itself is debilitating, to think, oh my God, my baby is out there somewhere and I can't find him. And what if this, there's so many what ifs. But what did you see in every single interview? Lies, 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 lies. To more lies, to more lies, to more lies. And then back at going on all these YouTube pages, every last one of them, harassing people, popping tires, doing weird shit, people calling in death threats for search parties, the weirdest shit I've ever seen. People don't do that. That is done when someone knows you're getting close. Why do you think that they pay so much attention to these lives right here? Think about that. How many times they've come on here. How many times have they come onto my live? Now, how do you know I'm on live? Because you're subscribed to my channel. And if that doesn't make you fearful, staying put. I mean, we all know that they've wasted so many hours and days and months and years going on to all these platforms, you know, swearing and the belligerency, the way they talk, the way Chris Proudfoot speaks about women. I mean, the crap that I heard come out of his mouth that people have sent me, he has no respect for women. And if you've noticed, he's only ever dated women with children, because it's not the woman that he really wants to abuse. He wants to have control over her, yes, but he wants to abuse those children in degrading ways. And I feel, honest to God, that he is a pervert. I feel like he's one of those people that touch little kids, gets with women to touch their children. And I can have my opinion. This is an opinion of mine. Am I saying he is? No. But in my opinion, you just get that creepy, weird, sick, twisted vibe. And that's how I feel about him. We can all have our opinion how we feel about somebody. No one has to like me. I don't give a shit. And for for the sheriff that passed away unexpectedly, stating in video, we seen him going into the house, we just didn't see him coming out again, never again. We, at the time he went missing, and he just so happens to pass away after that. Come on, Craddock, the buddy of the Proudfoots, gets in office and all shit stops. You have the person in the green hoodie comes up into the video, they up and die. I wonder how many other people have died and no one gets the connection here. Right. I think he does use that agenda to control the mothers. But we as women, I'm going to say this because I firmly believe this. If I was a single mother and you dated me as a mom, and I have my child, and I'm going to say this, but don't take it the wrong way, because I know not everybody is strong-willed as other women. And they do have that power over you when you have a child with them. If they have that pull and power. Put your hands on my fucking child. That'll be the last goddamn thing you do. If you want to be with a woman and she has a child, why did you meet her, date her, marry her, if you're only going to abuse her child? If you're going to abuse her while she's in the hospital. Now, mind you, everybody knows he's a degrading, useless fraction of what you can't call a man. Because anybody that can abuse a toddler, a disabled child, use food as power, speak about women in the most degrading ways, you set yourself up for your own defamation of yourself, because people see you as you really are. And you as a mother, Katie Proudfoot, how the fuck can you sit there and say he's respectful, he's caring, he's loving? No, he's protecting you and you're protecting him. And to just think that you gave birth to that boy. You know why I think you were so okay with doing what you were doing and allowed? Because he looked like his dad. He has his father's smile. Some women can disassociate themselves from their children because they look like their father. And when they exit on bad terms, it's like the mental capacity to break down is, you look like your father, you make me sick. Think of it in that manner. And then you have a mother who's a level 3 sex offender, and she's done some really sick shit to children. I understand why you're, and I'm not going to sit there and say if this is okay that I'm going to say this, but Katie Proudfoot, I think whatever happened to you as a child broke you mentally, and it really fucked you up, and you lost yourself somewhere as a child because maybe of the abuse that you endured, and it made you snap inside. And I think that's why you don't have an emotional connection to Sebastian at this point. I think for you to sit there and let him be on the phone with her, let him be around her, you knew what she was. You knew what she was capable of. But it also, him being sexually abused as a child, people that happens to become protective over their children. But at the same time, if you don't care and you disassociate yourself with your own emotional balance and your own emotional ability to love, that means that you have a psychosis yourself. I'm sure that, Katie Proudfoot, that you're on some sort of mental instability medication. You've had a problem with alcoholism, maybe even drugs at some point. As a mom, I'm not here to hate you. I just want to know how and why you could put your child through most likely the things that you went through as a child. And that's my frustration with her. How could you allow someone to, or even yourself, to take it upon yourself to get to this point and marry a man who completely hates women, hates children, abusive, when really he's just a fraction of a man, a little man who really has no power. He has his mommy and daddy to use. I can imagine what he did as a child, how much shit he got into, how much trouble he got into, and mommy and daddy went behind and fixed it for him. I wonder how much. Now I know there's a connection to the Proudfoot family to California, and I know that they are related to some people out in California. Actually, I was going to bring this up. I did some digging into the Proudfoot family. Not me specifically, but I had someone do it. And they're related to some people, that can get them out of things. And I think that's where Eric Craddock comes in. Let's pay off the local shithead police officer, the one that gets the sheriff's office and gets to say rape is just another word for snuggle struggle. So you have some good old boy Southern cops that are okay with rape, and no wonder Chris Proudfoot is still walking free as a free man. Well, how to have fake tears? Well, you have to understand something. When you're a sociopath, you're severely manipulative, you're a narcissist, you can trick and con anybody in because you're only manipulating, you're mirroring someone psychologically. So how many of you can say, when I get upset on here and it really fucks me up, and sometimes I just cry and I can't help it, right? How many times have you guys probably saw that and thought, oh my God, and you've probably gotten upset and maybe cried a little bit. Think of it in a way to where you have a sick individual, who can play to those key roles. You see somebody crying, or I'm going to cry, and they'll feel sorry for me, right? In her mental stability, a sociopath can manipulate your behavior, can manipulate fear, can manipulate mirror fear, mirror tears. There's no real tears there. Did you see her crying the first interview? No. I almost thought that she smirked when she looked at Chris. And then you got Chris turning his head or moving his eyes towards her every time she speaks, every time she goes to say a sentence.
they're making sure the cueing of the language is right by looking at each other. So to me, she's a sociopath. Sociopaths really don't feel. They just they don't have it. And have you ever heard her speak in a tone to where it's a loving effect or a how many times has she spoke about Sebastian way in the beginning and didn't say a word of her? I mean, you picked on him about the way he walked, his negated walk, his walk. You picked on him about the way he eats. You've picked on him about him being goofy. The best thing that someone can do when they talk about their child missing is the first thing you're going to notice is when a mother talks about their child, they're going to remember the things about them that meant the most to them. I loved it when he would come up to hug me or kiss me and tell me I missed you, Mommy. Or there's a saying that the best jewels around your neck are the arms of your children. And I've never heard her say anything meaningful about Sebastian, just truly meaningful. Oh, he could swim like a fish. My autism journey with my son, I have the most patience. I've been taught patience. I've been taught autism is many different levels of understanding. It's not one fits all. This child over here is autism. No, everybody is different in their autism journey. They stent, they make sounds, they eat differently, they don't like clothes touching their skin, they might hop, they might cover their ears, they might do a lot of different things, and you have to accept that. That is your child. You accept that. You accept for who they are. You no longer get to say, I don't like that about you. No, you accommodate your life around that child. And I just frankly think that I know I have a family, a big family. I have 5 children. Mine are all adults. Caleb is almost 20. But we all know that Caleb is never going to be 20. Caleb will always be the younger version of himself that he will never have as an older age. And we're okay with that. We've accepted that. We've come together as a team to always make sure that Caleb is loved. Caleb's day is special. Caleb's birthdays are special. Caleb does the funniest things, even at funerals. He's took the microphone from the person that reads the eulogies, and he's turned tears into laughter, into joy. He's made every day special. And I could cry just talking about my son. That is love. When a mother speaks about their child in the way that Chris Proudfoot talked about him, and she talked about him about the way he had accident in his diapers, how he moved funny, how he was goofy, how he couldn't make friends. You took that boy's life away way before you decided to really take it. You ended his life long before, and you knew that you would never let him go to his father because you knew all of those CPS reports would have your asses in prison. And the fact that CPS covered them up for you is another reason why you didn't want Sebastian going to his dad's. Because you all know that was a lawsuit. You could have lost everything. This is a motive, people here. This is suing, loss of money, loss of title, loss of home, loss of vehicles, the name gone, of the Proudfoot family, of knowing who they really were. Katie could have probably been charged with things. Think about how deep systemically this goes way before any of you even found out about it. And that's completely understandable. Completely understandable. Because if my son's in a home with that monster, I would have, and this is not me talking bad about Seth, I would have stepped up to the plate far long ago. I don't want you in that house with that man. He is dangerous. Again, I see it as a lot of people have failed Sebastian long before this even occurred. And I know Seth tried to make up for it, but at least give him credit for searching for his son, for doing everything he could to help him. Even though it was an after, and I'm sure that there were things that he probably felt powerless to as a man. But I think Sebastian saying, I don't want to move in with Dad, was, there was a lot of threats going on there, and Sebastian went to people 5 times for help. He probably just said, you know what, I'm not going to talk anymore. It's not worth it to me. I just think that there was a lot of things that could have been done early on for that boy, and we see this all the time in cases, right? There should-haves, there could-haves, there would-haves. And the fact that he was around so much filth, the grandmother being a level 3 offender, I mean, unfucking real. The mother, poor Sebastian being abused himself in that manner. Abused by a man who wasn't his father severely. How many of you remember him saying he was choked? He was choked. And then seeing pictures later on, months and months and months later on, with bruises around his neck. Can you imagine what is in those CPS records? Think about that. What is in those records? To me, I don't feel Chris Proudfoot. I feel like he's one of those people that would see Sebastian as such a weakling that he would abuse him on every level he could probably abuse him on. And I understand that, Tammy, but I also think that he also knew what Chris Proudfoot was about. If we're going to be honest here, right, and we're going to take complete control of the situation and say, you know what, I was guilty of not doing better, not doing more. That in itself, just the abuse and the mental abuse that he inflicted on that child, should have been, get him the fuck out of that house and get him out now. I understand he's guilt stricken, and he's doing the right thing, and he's trying to find him. And I'm not trying to down him, and sometimes sometimes we take longer than we should on doing something, and as awful as it sounds, and I'm not picking on Seth, sometimes that one thing can really do a number. And here we are today. Not blaming Seth, not even the least bit. But I just think that Sebastian should have been taken seriously the first time he told somebody, he's hurting me. I'm sure he feels guilty every single day. And that goes to show he loves his son. And I don't blame him in the least. It's just when you have a man that tries to make your son look like a liar 24 hours a day to you, right? Oh, he's not listening. He's doing this on purpose. He's got to wear diapers. He's got to this. He's got to this. He's got to this. I think at that point, Seth was probably trying to get him out of that house. But when you have law enforcement giving you the middle finger, when you're asking for help to find your child, and you don't have the police, you have a man and his family that are paying off dirty cops and helping cover up shit, he's got to feel helpless in every sense of the matter. I'm not going to say this about all step parents because I feel like that would be wrong to say. But just because a man or a woman comes into your life and you have a child, we're starting to see more and more devious, evil behavior in this world. And there are so many cases of step parents or even parents themselves doing the most horrendous thing to children. And I think Sebastian just couldn't take it anymore. And reaching out that many times, and I'm sure the school had a lot to do with making those phone calls to CPS. You see, I understand Chris bullied Seth, and I'm going to say this as a woman. As a woman, if I grew up in a way where I had to look out, take care of myself, handle my own business, and I grew up very young, but we took care of each other. We took care of our family. The family took care of each other. Even if we didn't have something, we had each other. And I grew up in a way you don't put up with shit from no man, no woman. You be kind, you be respectful, but you don't take shit. And me personally, I can't speak for everybody. Can't speak for everybody because everybody has their own. There are really sick people out there that abuse and scare people. And to me, that's what we're looking at right here. But for me, you put your fucking hand on my child and you're not his father, you won't have to worry about my kid's father. You just better go run and hide. Especially a child who has disabilities. How do you think hitting teaches patience, learning? Behavioral social skills, behavioral therapists should have been implemented very young for Sebastian. My son was diagnosed with autism at 2.5 years old. And they don't like diagnosing children that young because it could just be a delayed thing. But I knew in my heart, 5 children, my last child, there was something wrong with my child, and I knew it and I could see it every day. He didn't make eye contact when we call his name. He would spin and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. He couldn't speak. And there were a lot of things that I knew would never be fixed. But I also knew as a mom, that little boy is my everything. And it's our family's everything. He's our family's everything. We do what we need to do to protect our son, your sibling, your grandchild. We have so many people that will watch out for my son. I would never put my son in a way, in a dangerous position. And I just don't know how people can do that to their own child. I will never understand. I will never understand. I will listen, and I will listen to someone's side of the story, but I will never understand, because I've given my life to my son. My son will always be my priority over money, over anything. He will always come first, before any man, any job, anything. That's what I've dedicated my life to, because he's my son. I gave birth to him. No stepfather who can come to me, and you, Chris Proudfoot, you stepped into his life. You're the version of what you call a bullshit stepfather. You're one of those that step on the steps and hop over 3 just to get into the house, just so you could have some sort of power, because your little man complex and your mommy and daddy's money got you where you were. Not hard work, not kindness, not love. And I can't wait till the universe blesses you with your gift of fucking your shit up, because one day you're gonna have it. One day the universe is gonna come to you, and God only knows which way, whether it's a terminal illness, a car accident, who knows? Who knows? I don't know, but I can't wait till it comes to you. And I've never wished shitty things on people, but you have done nothing but destroy and maim little children, women, degrade, hurt, abuse, bully. I wish I came across you, because I would beat your ass, woman and all. I don't care. That's how much I think you're a coward. When a woman can sit there and say, I would slap the shit out of him, sad. But with the games, with the sneakiness, with the prior acts of abuse, it'll never get better, because he'll just move on to somebody else who has a child with disabilities, or a little girl, or someone he's gonna backhand across the face and probably break their tooth, or push someone's child down the stairs and it was an accident. Why? It'll get covered up, right? But the one thing I will always state is, you are now on the radar, Chris Proudfoot. You are on the radar. Anybody that you meet now, and I hope they're smart enough to see you and be like, God, never. I hope you realize you are on the radar. You hurt anyone else's child, not only do you have to face Sebastian's disappearance, the next one, because you're an offender. You will never stop hurting a child. You'll never stop hurting children, let alone women. You just haven't, I'm going to be honest with you, Chris Proudfoot. You never met the right one. And like I said in my last life, I'm that bitch. You came across the wrong one. I won't be the one to stalk you or come to your hometown to screw with you or anything like that. You've got one time to step over into my state line, and I will have your ass not only arrested, but you'll stay in jail. If you ever think you'll get past my circle of protection, because I could see you trying to do that to somebody on here, on these lives, because you think you're untouchable, but your time is coming. Who's going to want him after this? Katie Proudfoot. Energy matches energy, people. And if she can stay with a man like that, and if you've noticed, I want you to think of something. If you've noticed something, how many women has he dated? Which I think boggles my mind, because the man's not a prize winner, okay? What does that say about Katie Proudfoot? Every woman that he's abused, and they've brought their story out, and how horrible he was, and how he's hurt their children, but not Katie. Because Katie is his soulmate, his energy matching. She's just like him. Just like him. I do not feel bad for her in any way. The only one I feel bad for is Sebastian in this case. I really think that Sebastian he could have been saved. He could have been saved. And when the time comes, and they got to face everything that they've done to that child, I'm going to be front row. I will travel my ass down to Tennessee, and I will sit in a courthouse, because once that body's found, or if the body's found, let me put it like that, I want front row tickets to that courthouse. I want front row tickets, and I am going to make sure I have the biggest shit grin on my face, and I'm going to make sure I hold up a poster of Sebastian We and Drake Rogers. Because, a lot of people think you have to have the body for conviction. You do not always need the body for conviction. You just need plausible evidence. I can just see a lot of people just going to Tennessee on the behalf of watching that judge smack down that gavel and say 30 years to life. That would just make my day, make my life, actually. So, well, oh, big time, Natasha, big time. I told you, the universe doesn't fuck around when you hurt an innocent. That day will come for you. And that's why they go on all these lives. They go on all these people's YouTube pages, because they know people know what they've done. But when you come onto a page like mine, which is not like your typical podcast or YouTube channel, we're actually talking to spirit. There are things about him that no one could know. You know what I mean? No one could. How many things have we found out in cases that we do here on this channel? And he knows that. Chris Prophet knows that. That's why he comes on here belligerent and angry and mad, and he knows that. But the thing is, they're worried if he gets found. Why do you think they want to know the evidence and where he could be and what people are picking up on? And think about that. Because he's going to have to go face Bubba in prison, and she will have to be braiding somebody's hair for a brownie. Sorry, I said what I said. It will come. autocratic is not going to have your back all the time. Mommy and daddy can't save you all the time, because they're just a group of people. The higher force already has your shit signed, sealed, and delivered, and it's going to be on the way. He had, when I tell you, if he ever just approached me, I don't think he would understand what would be coming back at him. I'm not one of those soft-hearted people that allow a bully to fuck with. I grew up at a very young age having to take care of myself. My mama raised, I don't even want to say slang, but my mama raised one tough bitch. And here we go with the very blurry screen. I feel like I'm being touched right here, like someone's doing this to my hair. It's probably my mom. She knows when I talk about Sebastian, I get really protective of him. But, and I want you to understand the power that you guys have of prayer. Okay? Whatever God you pray to, whatever deity you pray to, and I don't judge people for what religion or what non-religion they have. I believe there's a God. I'm pagan. That is a Orisha. That's Oshun. That is a Haitian goddess. I have goddesses all around my room protecting. I have this on. I don't have one specific religion I follow. I grew up in a way where I respected cultures of every single race, every single different ability to understand their culture and what they practice. And I've become close to every single thing that I've ever encountered. The power of prayer through many platforms, Chris Proudfoot has no power over that and what you could do with prayer. Whether it's a spell, trust me, I'm already got that in the works for their asses. I don't care, I said it. You hurt a child, that can come your way. I don't care who gets pissed off that I said that. The power of prayer, whether it's through Haitian goddesses, the Heavenly Father, Mother Mary, God would tell you the same thing. You do not hurt the innocent. I want everybody tonight to go deep into prayer after this live, whether it's whatever you choose to pray, with or for. Put Sebastian Rogers in your prayers tonight. Really dedicate your prayer to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Through prayer, help him get justice. Now, justice might not mean you will find his body. It does not mean it. But it could mean the evidence is just enough to prove that they did something with his corpse, with his body. Excuse my language by saying that. But they can go to prison for that. There's a lot of things that prayer can do. And tonight, I really want you to step off here tonight and really pray with your heart and feel for Sebastian. I have my ancestor altar right here. You guys don't see it, but it's there. I have a whole wall here of my ancestors I pray to every day. I have several altars in this room that I use in prayer and casting and workings. Do I hurt people? No. But do I fuck around with pedophiles or rapists or child killers? I will put some shit down on your ass quick. And the fact that they have no care, none of them down there, the sheriff, none of them. I'm going to start doing some shit, holding deep prayer sessions, private Facebook chats to where we can all messenger chat each other, see each other's faces. And there are things that I can do and we can pull in and work with for Sebastian. I do that singularly, but there is power in prayer. There's power in prayer. I see every religion as powerful, whether it's Haitian, whether it's any form of Catholicism, whether it's Judaism, whether it's, you name it, it's powerful in its own right. Use it. That is magical in itself. Prayer is powerful. What we speak matters. Words are spelled. That's why they call it spelling. Sebastian liked green, so I would use green aventurine. I would use emerald. I would use Sebastian's birthday is in use his birthstone. It's a direct link to you. So whatever your sign is, whatever Sebastian's sign is, there's so many different things that you can use. He's December. Use his birthstone for December. Use his astrological sign. You can do astrological charts. There's so many different things that you could do for Sebastian. Prayer, going to the ethros, going to the apex. By meaning that, I mean get a bunch of people together. Use your power that you were given at birth. Power is focus, mind, spirit, body, prayer, speech. Use it all. It works. When you have enough people doing that, those assholes will definitely have some problems coming their way when it comes to being put in jail. Sometimes the universe just needs a little nudge to help it out. Sebastian's law to pass. I hope so, and I have a good feel. Tonight's live. Sagittarius and turquoise. When you're praying for Sebastian, pray for him in a way that he's already healed, he's already moved forward. Nobody or nothing can hurt him, hold him back, and ask the universe for swift justice, swift love that his soul is guided to the other side. Swift justice that the people that did hurt him go to jail immediately. And I want you to understand, snapping your fingers is a very powerful practice. Clapping your hands is a very powerful practice when you're praying. Anybody, Miss Natasha, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I've worked with many deities. I've worked with Papa Legba. I've worked with Oshun. I've worked with Artemis. I've worked with Hecate. I've worked with the Heavenly Father, Mother Mary. I have good intentions for every single religion. I will go to a mosque and put on a head wrap because it's respectful. I will respect any religion that I go forward in. If my friend says, hey, I'm going to this church, but we have to dress a certain way. If I'm going to go prayer, we have to. When you go to do the bomba, you got to do what? You got to dress in the culture. Anybody knows the bomba? The dance, the music. Just like the Heavenly Father has the church with the priest that swings and you see the smoke coming out. What do you think is in that smoke? Myrrh, frankincense, olive oil, sage. All those herbs are sold everywhere you go. Hoodoo, voodoo, all of those. I use all those practices, but you will never see me hurt anyone with them. Have I used it to my advantage in a way that stopped somebody from hurting somebody? Yes. But in this sense, it's not, it's just too late in that manner. But we can use prayer. We can guide, light candles. We can, when I say pray, I don't mean, and then Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father, I pray. No, you have to be so emotionally connected to this case. The prayer needs to be felt and sent out. The power of prayer is magnetic. It is so immensely powerful that I want you guys to do for me. Native Americans, when they go to a wow, I practice Native American as well. I am diverse. Every religion is beautiful, whether it's from the deepest jungles, whether it's from the nice side of town over here, whether it's any, religions are beautiful. And if we just got to know each other's religion a little bit more, there would be no judging it. Yes, thank you. Pray, feel, and believe. In your internal belief is everything. What's the point in wearing anything if you don't have faith that it works? Just to have jewelry on? Do you wear a wedding ring and you believe? Why do you wear that wedding ring? Because it's the power and belief that you're connected to your loved one, your soulmate, and you wear it with honor, and you take it upon yourself to wear that with pride, with love. When a sheriff uses a badge of a star, it's a symbol of power. It's a symbol of power that you can use to manifest. Manifest prayer helps Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And let the Proudfoots think that that's a joke. I dare them to come on here and say that that would be a joke. Because to go against religion, the only reason why I haven't done what I was taught there's justifications, there's justification rituals, which means you are justified in doing what you're doing. And then there are things that you just shouldn't do at all. But I was taught in a different way. There are things that I could just speak. I have a spell for you. I could put you, you know what, that's closed practice. I was taught differently. I won't repeat it here. But there are things that could happen just from a word, from a candle, from anything. Prayer is powerful. And you know what's even more funny? I find this so funny. Chris is so dumb because this isn't Katie's first rodeo, or vice versa. So they're going to end up turning on each other one day, and it's going to be in the news. One of them is going to get the deal. And when that happens, it's going to be the least one expected. We all know Chris is a snake, so we know he would take the deal immediately, right? But no one's banking on Katie. Katie is the little soft-spoken one, and I just can't believe that, bullshit. She is clear as day. A snake is like him, just like him. And if, here, we know you did this, she'd be the first one to sign that documentation. I'm getting the deal first, sorry. Think about that. So, I'm going to end this live tonight. And I really want you to end this live. And I really want you to just go find a quiet space. And I want you to talk about Sebastian to whatever religion that you pray with, as if he's your own child. The more people that do that, you're sending out an atmosphere full of love and dedication. That is something in any religion, no matter what it is the most powerful thing that you could do. Love over everything. When Native Americans pray in a powwow, do you know it's been seen on spectral light that the vibration of the meditation, the drums, the vibration from the bodies around the powwow lifts up and creates its own atmosphere. The color changes, and these types of gadgets I have, it turns a funny, strange, odd color. The vibration of power that comes from within you raises up. That's why they say when you pray, your prayers go up. You're vibrating your prayers through speech, through sound. Take that with you tonight. Go pray, and I mean truly pray. Don't just go through the motions. Yeah. Pray that Sebastian gets justice at every single cost, in every which way. And when enough of us do it, knocking on that door of success. Because the Proudfoots are going to keep knocking on the devil's door, and the devil's going to come calling. They're going to think it's funny to keep hitting up all these YouTube content creators or these psychics on their page. But I have to tell you, I am one of the most unique psychics out there. You want to know why? Because I don't have just one religion I follow. I follow multiple. And the things that I could just say and I'm doing this because Miss Natasha knows what this is about. She knows in certain religion, your hand gestures, your speech, when you really mean it, you're speaking it out, you're saying it. I'm going to leave that one alone, but Miss Natasha knows. But use your power, use your words, use your heart. Because when you just use the mouth and none of the rest follows, that's why most people don't understand prayer will never be heard. Because when you don't have that connection to something as beautiful as religion, doesn't matter what religion. I didn't seek Miss Oshun out. She sought me out. I don't use her as I honor her specifically. That is my religion with her. I honor her in every way. give offerings just like you would Jesus Christ. You light candles, I light candles for her. I bring my ancestors tobacco, alcohol, perfume, money, anything that they loved in life. In hoodoo practices, there are root work and conjure work. Root work is working with the roots of trees or herbs and working with the spirits to help heal. When you conjure, you're using that spirit to do your bidding, to work with that spirit to help you gain. And in return, you give honorings. Just like Jesus Christ, you pray to Jesus Christ. You pray to Mother Mary. You pray to the angels. You pray to the saints. You light the candles. You cook certain things on certain days. It's the same idea, just different practice to an extent. So, a lot of people come to this page, and I'm going to tell you tonight, when you leave here, don't just go through the motions of it. Pray. Use the almighty orishas, anybody you want to use to pray to. Feel it, speak it, think it, hear it, feel it, send it. That goes a long way, and that could be some scary shit. Prayer is magical. And that can go, there's a reason why spells work. Spells are the spells you speak. Spells are what you create, what you send up, what you manifest. Go for it. Tonight, I want everybody to watch their six, and I might have went off into my religion kick, but I had to make people understand. To live life without any type of religion or any type of belief system and just winging it won't get you far. Working hard, paying your bills, that's all fine and dandy, but the universe can take it from you as quickly as you received it. The universe is the tool that you use, whether it's a universal creator to you, whether it's God, whether it's any of these deities, whether it's any orisha, or it doesn't matter. Pray, honor, give thanks, and the power is in your speech. It's in your heart. It's in your mind, body, and spirit. That's the reason why 3 is the number, is the Holy Trinity, is the, mind, body, and spirit. Or I could go on and on and on and on about this stuff, but I'm sure you get the gist of it. When you start believing what you feel and think, watch the shit that happens. Let's go pray for Sebastian tonight. Really pray for Sebastian tonight. And any way that you pray, you make sure you place in that Sebastian Rogers receives full justice. All and any of people involved are brought to justice. But to feel it, think about this as your own child. Yes, it needs to be one. When you balance the mind, the heart, the soul, all of it, mind, body, and spirit, you live a very unique lifestyle, because you can feel spiritually and physically so balanced that the things that of negative that people send you, you're untouchable that way. It's like bounces off you. You are the power. Make it happen. We have the power to bring Sebastian home. We do. And if enough of you believe that and you really, truly do that, think of Sebastian as your child. pray, pray. Prayer is the power. Not the dollar bill in the pocket, not the quick fix on the corner, the power within you and the power that you send out and receive and get back. That's the true ability to gain. Everybody, I had a fabulous live with you tonight. I'm coming back on here Monday, and we are going to talk about the Proudfoot's House of Horrors. And we're going to talk about how they put Sebastian through. Whether he comes through or whether his guides come through, whether his family comes through to let us know every single detail. I never really truly get into the full scope of it because we're always asking questions, that's what we're here for. But this live is strictly for what exactly truly went on in that home. So Wednesday is another one, but that's going to be something different. So make sure that you guys are on here at 9 o'clock Monday. Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Okay? Everybody watch your 6. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He truly needs your prayers. He truly needs all of you. So let's make that change. Let's get him home, even if it's just through prayer. Okay? Everybody have a good night and watch your 6. Everybody, I'm going to tell you, watch your 6.